Well, hello, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. And today we're going to talk about where we left off, really. Um, the last video that I did had it's quite an interesting uptake, lots of questions, lots of comments, and lots of you are clearly struggling with this at the moment. So we're going to talk about what's clearly quite topical at the moment, and that is how do you deal with narcissists? And just clear definition, because I just want to say that I went through most of my life without actually knowing what it was, even though my mum's a narcissist. I'd never had the capacity or I had never really labeled it as such. I had a different word for it, and I don't think I need to use that on a YouTube channel because I might get thrown off. So there are other words for what you can call a narcissist, and none of them are good, folks. So narcissists have no empathy, as we've discussed. And the odds are, as a light worker, you've attracted them into your world. You've attracted the narcissist into your world because it's your duty to up the temperature and to break through that and to get in touch with your darker side. Now, does that mean that you are a dark worker? So it really is the journey of life as you evolve is a lot like Anakin Skywalker. For the average empath, it's a bit like Anakin Skywalker. You reach the point, you start off with all of the best of intentions, doing good for the world, and there's a point where you realize that it's not all sweetness and light, and you might go a little bit dark. And there's usually an influence in your life that leads to that, and that's where the narcissist steps in, who is very unfair. Everything is stacked up against you. It doesn't matter how flexible you are with everything, you'll still be wrong and they'll always be right. And you'll just reach a point where you suddenly realize that nothing's going to change, that whatever you do, all routes lead to you're wrong and they're right. And that's your opportunity to really step up. It's just a step up opportunity to really get out of your comfort zone and to get out of the relationship. That's ultimately what it's about, folks. Because while you're in the relationship, what you'll realize at a certain point is that narcissists, they love to give it out, but they're terrible at taking it. They're very precious if you throw their own bullshit at them. If you become a mirror and just throw back to them what they throw to you, that's how you test if you're dealing with a narcissist, because they will instantly get very precious. They will um, they will blame you of stuff that they do all the time to you, but they're allowed to do it to you, but you're not allowed to do it to them. You will notice the hundreds of hypocrisies of dealing with narcissism. And I just want to bring this to life as well for you folks. Some people never get this lesson. So if you're watching this video now and you're listening to this, the odds are that you're going to be ahead of the curve. Some people go their whole lives and don't really get this until it's too late. So my granny, she lived till she was 90. She grew up in Belfast. She was the most wonderful, lovely, accepting, tolerant, mediating woman I ever met in my life. She was the community linchpin. She would go and help her friends, even though she was registered blind. She would do all sorts for the community. She studied philosophy when she was 88. Just an incredible woman, and was a painter. She was registered blind and she used to paint. So there's lots of wonderful things about my grandmother, and I was there at the end for her. I went over to Belfast when she was dying, and I spent a couple of weeks with her. And one of the processes I do, because I've got experience of working with people at the end of life through my nursing career. So I always ask people, especially my family, did you have any regrets? What did you love the most? What are your biggest achievements? What are your biggest regrets? For my granny on her deathbed, suddenly she wasn't sweetness and light. She lamented that she spent her whole life trying to keep everyone happy and had failed miserably, because not only were they not happy or unappreciative of the efforts that she'd made, but she'd made herself utterly miserable. trying to navigate what was ultimately an impossible dynamic to navigate. You cannot take responsibility for other people's happiness, but you are in full control of your own, folks. And that's really important. This is about taking ownership of your happiness. It's about taking your energy back. It's about taking control of your life. And you do that through creating boundaries. Most empaths have very few boundaries. We'll drop everything, we'll do stuff to the detriment of ourselves if somebody else needs help. And this is the realization that there's a certain point you're the one that you're going to need to help. And there's usually a disparity, folks, because you would do stuff, your talk is way more positive to your friends than it is to yourself. And when you realize this, when you realize that the game is to treat yourself the same way that you would treat your best mate, that's when you get it. Because we fight for our friends, but not necessarily for ourselves. We get fired up if somebody messes with one of our mates, but not necessarily with ourselves. We'll make excuses. We'll offset the what has just happened. We'll make excuses for them. And it can be a lifelong journey. But the fact is, if you're watching this now, if you've reached that point that you've had enough, and some people, it's so painful. Reading some of the comments on my last video talking about this, I feel your pain, folks. It's very unfair. It can be wearing, and it's very, very likely that if you're watching this and you're resonating with what I'm talking about, that you've felt suicidal on more than one occasion. Now, feeling suicidal and actually being suicidal, there is a gap between those two things. And I know because I used to work with people who'd taken overdoses and things like that. And I have felt suicidal in times in my life, but I knew that I would never commit suicide. So let's just get that clear. Being suicidal is where nothing's going to stop you from killing yourself. And feeling suicidal is just exactly that, just feeling what it's like to feel like this is it. You're staring at the void. There's nothing left for me. There's no way out. That's usually at the heart of this. There's no way out. Well, if you're watching this, I just wanted to tell you right now that this is the one message I've got for you. There's always a way out. And if you're watching this now, then you're watching it for a reason. You've found a pathway, folks, because what I'm going to do is hold up a signpost and I'm going to help you through my videos and my channel to guide you out of what is a really difficult place to navigate. And it is tough, folks. I wish I could tell you it was an easy route. I wish I could tell you it was sweetness and light. I wish I could tell you that this is the wonderful part of a spiritual journey, but I can't. Sometimes it's just really fucking tough. And that is just the reality of it. And you're probably feeling it now. And because of the empath journey, of course, we're so tolerant as empaths, as light workers, as healers, then we tend to value our own well-being right at the bottom of the pile. And that's why you're probably feeling drained. So let's just do something right now. Let me give you something right this second, an exercise that you can use right now, just to start the journey. We're just going to start the journey. So if you followed this channel for a while, you'll know some of this stuff that I've done. If you're new to it and you're discovering this for the first time, then, well, let's start from scratch. I will give you a very quick exercise now that you can take as long or as little as you like, but just doing it will make you feel better. So let me explain a concept that's really important. As empaths, as healers, we take on energy of other people to heal them. Now, here's the litmus test. You work with someone, you say stuff to them, you do energy work, you talk to them for hours, and at the end of it, they say, oh my God, I feel so much better having spent time with you. You're brilliant. You're absolutely brilliant, but you'll feel drained. You've got nothing. You just want to go to sleep. That's the symptoms, folks. That is the symptoms. And I'm going to now give you an exercise. What you've done, you've taken on board their energy as a healer, because energy is like a magnet. And unless we know how to set it and control it or learn these techniques, then you just take on board other people's energy. And before you know it, you've lost yourself. You don't know who you are. You're feeling just low and depressed all the time. And the good news is that it's not yours. Quite often, it's just not yours. You've taken on board your friends' issues, which is why they feel better. The whole path of a problem shared is a problem halved really sort of contributes to this. So that is the symptoms, folks. And what we're going to do now, we're going to do a very brief energy exercise, and you don't have to believe in energy at all. This is a very practical thing that we're going to show you. And all you have to do is listen. That's the only important thing. So what you're going to do now is ground yourself. You're going to imagine a ball of light at the center of the earth, and you're going to imagine a cord connecting between that and the base of your spine. You may want to feel that cord go up through your legs. You may want to connect it directly to the base of your spine. It doesn't matter, because just thinking about it, you're connected. This is called grounding. There's lots of other ways you can ground. If you've got a personal favorite, do it. That's just one way that you can ground. So the next thing you're going to do is imagine a lake in front of you with a magnet in the center of it. And you're just going to set the intention now that that magnet will draw off any energy that isn't yours. So just allow that to happen. You may feel something, you might not. It doesn't matter whether you do or not, because just talking you through it will happen. Just stay receptive. And when that's finished, just allow the magnet to go to the center of the earth and dissipate. And now that you've released other people's energy, we're going to fill it up now, because energy abhors a vacuum. And if you don't fill it up after you've released it, it'll all come back. So you're now going to imagine a ball of light above your head. And you're going to allow white light just to come in through the top of your head and to fill you up. Just allow that to happen now. And that's like an energy shower that you've just had, folks. And it is a shower. It's not a quick fix. It's like a shower. If you do it every day, it will have benefits for you. If you do it once and then don't do it again, and then in a few weeks' time say, well, it didn't work. Well, it's the same way as if a shower didn't work. If you had a shower today and then in 2 weeks say, yeah, but I'm minging, the shower didn't work. It's the same principle with energy. The more often you do this, the better you'll feel. But that's how you offset other people's energy. So there's a very practical exercise, something practical that you can take today, and you can use that to start feeling better. And it's probably not, you're probably not going to figure that at the end, oh my God, that's it. I've cracked it, folks. I've cracked it. It's very subtle quite often, and it's one step at a time. And do this energy exercise regularly, and you will start to feel better. But most importantly, folks, take action, draw the boundaries, have the tough conversations, and reach out. If you're struggling, reach out, and I'll do my best. I do read all of the comments, and that's why I'm recording this video, because rather than I will do my best to interact with all of them. But this is the answer. This is my reply to the last video. Do this exercise and you will feel better. I hope that helped, folks. I hope that helps. So, light workers, Jedis, and Vader, enjoy your journey navigating this. It may not feel very enjoyable at the moment, but as soon as you find your fellow light worker family and you start meeting up with them and hanging out with the right people, and more importantly, stop hanging out with the narcissists, you will feel better. And if you're still watching this, folks, and you're not already subscribed to the channel, then please do subscribe, because my content is here to help you, to give you practical tips and practical explanations of why you're feeling shit and what you need to do about it.